theyeshiva.net.
We're up to Ois Gimel in the Maimer of Keil Kamocha, Monsey Oven, Samach Aleph, column 2 on the bottom of page 121. If Gimel, Ois Gimel. L'shem yichid k'tchabrichu. Yeah. Liachad Hashem yudke bevavke. So what we learned yesterday in a nutshell, mamash in a nutshell, is that Hashem essentially, real truth transcends time. Time is a creation. But we live in the world of time. We live under the spell of time. Tshuva kadma la'olam means that tshuva is the yearning to go to the place which is kadma la'olam, which is beyond olam, which is beyond space and time. Recognizing that the Ani Hashem Lo Shanisi, that the change of creation, which begins with time, is basically an articulation of two letters, Sachakal, which is Yud and Hey. Yud Olam Haba and Hey Olam Haza. And therefore, that reality that's beyond time is always present, is always as real as it gets. And yet, the purpose of creation was, Hashem wanted what we call a dira b'tachtoinim, a home, a dwelling place in the lower realities which are governed by time and space. Because tachtoinim, the lower world means the perception of reality, the experience of reality, which is of course within space and within time. And we had a break for a while. That you got to blame sunrise, which is also part of time. So when it says Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid, it means, he says Shivisi in Tehillim means I make, I create. Vayas David Shem, the Zohar says David made the name. Vasisem oisem, vasisem atem, the Zohar says Kilu asauni, you make me. What says you make me? The name Yudke Vavke, which is the transition from something beyond time to time, which is the L'Shem Yichud Kudshabrichu Shchinte, L'Yachad Hashem Yudke Bevavke B'Yichud Shlim. The Yud represents the Tzimtzum, where infinity has to, so to speak, crunch itself in to finiteness, to dwell in a place of finiteness, and within time, which is finiteness. That's what the Yud represents. And then there's the continuation of the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. So, Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit, I make the name. Diri B'Tachtoina means you make the name, meaning that the godliness is revealed, the truth of godliness is revealed within a world that's finite, within a reality that's finite. And that's the Yichud, L'Shem Yichud, that we say before davening, to unite Kutshabrichu and Shchinte, or Yudke and Vavke, B'Yichud Shlim, to have the fusion of the two realities, which, as he explained at length, that ultimate fusion, that's what Mashiach is, that's what L'Asad Lava is. V'nigla Kvoid Hashem, V'ro Kol Basa Yachtav, Kifi Hashem Dibber, we daven on Rosh Hashanah, V'hoifa Badar Goyen Uzecha, V'yeda Kol Pol Ki Ata Peyalti, V'yovin Kol Yitzor Ki Ata Yitzarta. Not only the way it's now, where it's nitfus, it's grasped by Ovdei Hashem, be'emes, people who are Ovdei Hashem, and also in a b'china of emunah, not an oifen of hasaga. So he continues further. He says, "V'hinei gilu yichud zesh yizgala erin seif baruch hu shalifnei ha'ishtalshlos ulamayla min hazman lamata b'seder ha'ishtalshlos shetachas hazman." This revelation of the Yichud. Yichud is, of course, fusion, unity. That Oidein Seif Baruch Hu, The light of the Ein Sof, which is Lifnei HaYishtalshalus, which precedes, which transcends Ishtalshalus. Ishtalshalus is the evolution of the energy from the highest place to the lowest place, which always begins with Ratzai and Shaiv. But we're talking here the Ein Sof that transcends that. It's beyond Zman, it's beyond time, even time in its most condensed form. This Gilui, Lamata, below, inside the Ishtalshalus, in the structure where there is the evolution of the energy, which is Tachas Zman, which is under the influence, and in the realm of time, this Yichud that we're speaking about, L'Shem Yichud, of Yutkei Bevavkei, or Kutchabrichu and Shchinte, of Ein Sof, which is beyond Zman, beyond Ishtalshalus, in Ishtalshalus, which is in time, Hu Mizgala Bebal Tshuva. This is most experienced in the person we call Bal Tshuva, in the Avodah of Tshuva. Sheshav el Hashem b'chol nafshi ma'odai, b'klois hanefesh me'umke deliba. Definition of Tshuva is he returns to Hashem with his heart, with his soul, his very being. B'klois hanefesh, as his soul yearns from the depth of his heart. Ke'aydei ha'tshuva zu, because Tshuva is what causes that nimshach loy. Ha'arem el ma'ila me'erin sof shalifnei ishtalshalus el ma'ila me'azman. Tshuva is what allows him. It's because of Tshuva that there's a ha'ara, a light, a ray that comes to him from above. What do we mean from above? From the Ein Sof that's deeper than Ishtalshalus, that's beyond time. That's what we say in the morning in Shachris, right after the bracha, right after Psukei Zimra, we start the first blessing of Kriyas Shema. So we say, right, Hameir la'aretz v'la'darim Allah b'rachamim. We speak about the light, he gives light to earth and all who live on it with compassion. We don't take sunlight for granted at all. Also renews every day the creation. So we speak about the creation. And then we say, Hamelech hamerumim levadoi me'az hameshubach v'hamefoyer v'hamesnase b'maisalim. These words sound familiar. Hamelech, the king, hamerumim, who was exalted by your minion, they meditated on these words. Hamelech hamerumim levadoi me'az. That's kedai amolza nichshel werden, and to get stuck for a few seconds, even though the chaz in life, just to get stuck a little bit.
Minion transcends time.
Nor time.
So when you speak about Hameir la'aretz, the light, that's Zman. In fact, our major way of measuring time was through the sundial. It was through the orbit of the day and the night. You couldn't deny that. There's sunrise and there's sunset and there's midday and the sun is above your head and then the sun is in the east, the sun is in the west, and then there's night. That was the major, I would say, human experience of the movement and change and flux. But then you say Hamelech, the Melech is Merumim. Merumim comes from the word Roim, exalted, Levadei, alone, Me'az, from then, or from way back. Hameshubach v'hamefoyer, he's praised, he's exalted, he's glorified. V'hamesnase mimois oilam. He's above Yemois Olam. Yemois Olam means the days of the world. So he says, what is that? Beyond what we call Yemei Olam, days of the world, Yemois Olam. There's Yemei Olam and Yemois Olam. Yemei Olam are the actual days of the world. Yemois Olam is the source of Zman. So we speak about the 1,000 years that are like one day. Is this day called Zman? Is it just one day that for us is 1,000 years? That's the concept of time, relativity, even within physics, that in a different environment and in a different speed, what in one place is 50 years is another place one day. And the clock has to be adjusted because it literally moves slower. He says, when you speak Elef Shanam Beinecha K'yem Esmal, it's not that the Yom is man mamish. Ma'achar Shekel Elef Shanam Ka'achas. It includes 1,000 years. Im Kol Zehu Makar V'Sheirish L'Bchina Zman. but it's the source of Zman, it's the concept of Zman. V'lachei nikri yemois olam, aval hu yizbarach ba'atzmai, u'misnasim merumim la'ein ketz b'bchinas yoyim elu ki l'mayla me'azman l'gamre. In Zman itself, in other words, there's Zman the way it's down here. There's Zman the way it's down here, but in a different speed, in a different environment. The way the Zman is in a higher place, in a higher world, where it's condensed, where Elif Shana Beinecha could be Kiyom Esmal. And then there is, where Zman becomes one Nakuda, and then there is something that's completely L'mayla Mehazman. That's Hamisnase Mi Mois Eilam. Ulazois, Ayidei Hamshachas Ha'arazu. Tshuva, what is tshuva? We said tshuva is kadma la'olam. Tshuva is the person's yearning or the person's connection with that which is beyond Zman. So he says, when this light from beyond Zman comes into the Zman, gam ha'adam yimas chaye hazman. The person also becomes completely not defined. He's yimas, becomes disgusted with being limited in the world of time. Why? Because what he wants is he has the dveikus, or she has the dveikus in the Ein Sof itself, mamish, which is l'mayla min hazman. So this is the real inyan of tshuva kadma la'olam, that it touches the nakuda of emes, which is beyond zman. There's always discussion in people's lives about living in the moment, right? Living in the moment is considered a very great virtue, the power of now and everything that comes with it. What is this concept of living in the moment? That very often people are not living in the moment. They're living in the past, or they're living in the future. They're anxious about the past, they're anxious about the future. And I can't even be present in the moment. There's always something going on. I have to do something, I have to prepare for something. Living in the moment is really appreciating that this is where it's at. Wherever I am at right now, this is the purpose, this is the tachlis. So in other words, instead of thinking about tomorrow, not in a negative way, I mean, there's a concept of thinking about tomorrow in the sense.
Preparing for the moment, so preparing for later is also living in the moment.
Right, that's what I'm qualifying. I'm qualifying that learning from the past is a good thing, and preparing for the future is a good thing. The question is where you're living. Are you living part of the moment? Could be, I'm preparing for the future. We always do that, right? If somebody's going on a trip and they're packing, so they're packing. But it means really, in other words, seeing the opportunity in the very moment. But that's all in the realm of Zman. Elamai, the question is, what do we say? Ha'avar ayin, ha'hoiva, ha'asad karif, ha'hoiva, ha'asta dayin, ha'hoiva karifayin, daigam in ayin. Right. So in other words, to live in the very moment, in the heartbeat of the moment, and especially al pi Torah, and al pi the famous explanation of the Baal Shem Tov that the world is created every moment. Like we just said, ha'machadish betuvay, b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereishis, every day and really every moment, as we say before Kriya Shema. So therefore, in this very moment, you have, this is where it's at, this moment. And it's a very great blessing when somebody could live in that moment, because wherever they are, they're fully present. They're there with their essence, they're there with their being, and they're not just trying to run away from any moment or getting stuck in a previous moment or in a future moment. So both in a positive sense and the negativity that it avoids, it has tremendous advantages. That's all in the realm of time. But Latanya here is saying that tshuva is deeper than that. It's not just, I want to be present right now. I have 1 minute, this minute where we're going to meet, I should be fully present. Yeah, that's a very big thing. But there's something even deeper than that. And that is, he says, what tshuva really means is, I want to connect to that which is not bichlal in together of zman. That's what I want. I want to become one with that which doesn't exist in the realm of time, which means, of course, also, if it doesn't exist in the realm of time, it's beyond time, but time also doesn't affect it. which means
You live in time. How do I understand? Is this a mechanism or an exercise?
I don't know if it's a mechanism or exercise. I don't know.
I can't.
That's
relate
too
to it.
sophisticated question. If it's a mechanism or an exercise.
No, are you saying how the background works? And
Okay, so
you're saying
I'm
that's an avoided that a person can. If I can't comprehend what it means beyond Zman, because I live in Zman, what are you telling me?
right.
You're telling me how it works in the background? And a person has a moment of plus and nefesh. You're telling me what happens without my knowledge?
Okay.
That's such a difficult question. But I'm
I don't.
struggling.
I don't know if it would be an appropriate answer in this conversation, but I wanted to say, wait a minute. But it's probably not an appropriate answer for this question.
It could
Yeah.
be the answer.
Mein Argumentation about it, if the Tshuva or Nishkala Tshuva. If the Tachlis is to live there, mein Argument.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Why about tshuva? Why tshuva kadma la'ilam? Why tshuva dafka?
Yesterday you said Kodma Lehelam, that made sense.
Kadma lahelam is the same thing. Kadma la'ilam is kadma lahelam.
And that's something I can place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Can a finite mind comprehend what it means? A place and time that I shouldn't say time, I just killed it. That's beyond time? I can't. So
Yeah. I don't know the word is comprehension. I don't know if the word is comprehension. But here's the point. When you speak about living with the now, which is a very beautiful and a very noble and a very important concept, it's just part of the picture. And the word is part of the picture. It's really not the Likkutei here. The Likkutei is much deeper than that. It's that every moment, and again we're using the word moment, at every moment, a person has the ability to touch that which doesn't exist in the world of moments or time. Which means I align myself with something that's beyond time, and therefore it's by definition eternal. Not eternal because it's going to last for a year or 2 years or 100 years, because it's that which is l'maylam and hazman. If you say that creation of time, that creation was not tough time was always there, so everything lives in time. But since the truth is that the emes of reality is l'maylam and hazman, time is just a dimension in which you experience reality. So avodas hatshuva. What's avodas hatshuva? Avodas hatshuva represents the person who's, so to speak, frustrated. Tshuva is always the tension that comes from failure. That's what the concept of tshuva is. You have to return. If I wasn't lost, if I stayed in my source, I don't have to return.
Why only from failure? It's nothing so good.
However subtle the failure.
Why?
Okay, but it's something is prompting it. Something is motivating it. Yeah. It's not I don't want to remain in the status quo. I don't want to remain in the status quo.
And tzaddik doesn't want to be in the same realm. If it's the tachlis to be.
Yeah, paradoxically, the tzaddik, because his life is working, so he could remain confined by what he has, because it's working. That's the Maila of Tshuva. The Maila of Tshuva, you say, B'makam Shabbat Tshuva, I am the main tzaddik in Gemurim, because the tzaddik, life works. It's a gate. It's beautiful. So if it's beautiful, what do I have to go away from it? It's fine. So the tzaddik could live in the world of time. Dafka Avodas HaTshuva is the world is not working for him. So therefore, tshuva is like the what's the word? Like the slingshot. It creates a momentum. The frustration, the tshuva creates a momentum that becomes like it catapults. That's the word. It catapults. It. How do you say that? It's like a lawn. The spring, yeah, it's like when the spaceship, leaves the source, and within a few seconds, it's already beyond the effect of gravity. Yeah, that's why he keeps saying the klois hanefesh me'umke de liba. That dafka, that tshuva, brings a person before the olam, kadma la'olam. But he's not completely out of Zman. That's what he says, that there's a psagilui of Lamailam and Hazman in the Zman. Obviously, we're still living, the Baal Tshuva lives in Zman also.
It's so to say like the Aver become the combustion for you to be able to jump up.
Yeah. The combustion becomes from the negativity, whatever that level of negativity is. Lavdavka, like he said, it's Lavdavka Balaveda. Huh?
Maridas.
What?
The Sonic is there always.
Sorry, come.
Not at
He's
high.
always,
He
he's
walks.
there. He was born there. You know the story, he was born on the
Huh?
mountain.
If the tzaddik is a Baal Tshuva, yeah.
The story, he was born on the mountain.
If he's a Baal Tshuva, but Lavdavka, sometimes when he's born on the mountain, he stays on the mountain. Huh? Yeah. We learned once about Kali, the Gemara says Kol Yamav b'tshuva, right? There's the concept of tshuva on different levels. So it's not, I want to be in the present moment because I want to have more menuchas hanefesh, I want to have more serenity. Just be present. Don't live in the past, don't live in the future. That's good, but it's much deeper than that. It's that every moment I could align myself with that which doesn't exist in time. If it doesn't exist in time, every moment is really an eternal moment.
How do you align yourself with something?
That's what dveikus and Ein Sof means. Dveikus and Ein Sof means I'm not just cherishing the moment, I'm not just living in the moment. It's a realization. What does dveikus with Hashem mean? What does it mean? That at every moment I can touch that which doesn't live in a moment. It's l'maylam and hazman. B'meila, it's eternal.
While you're in this mind.
I'll tell you a lashon. Rabbi Litzman, you mind passing the sefer in front of you, the Tanya in front of you? There's a lashon in Tanya. In Perik Chaf Hey, the Balatanya says, it's an interesting, very... Chapter 25, he speaks about a Jew doing a mitzvah. So he speaks about when a Jew becomes connected to Hashem through Torah or through mitzvahs. So he says, "V'yichud zeh l'mayla hu nitzchi la'olam v'ad." The yichud of a moment is eternal. Ki hu yizbarach u'retzayna l'mayla mehazman. If you're connecting with the truth, it doesn't exist in time. So maybe you can't say, oh, now I was connected, and an hour from now, my mood changed, I'm disconnected. He says, no, if you got connected to this nekuda, he doesn't exist in time. He's l'mayla ben azman. So maybe the yichud is a nitzchi l'olam v'ad. V'chein gilu yitzayna shebediburi shu atayru hu nitzchi. His rutzen, the way it's articulated in his dibur, which is Torah, is also nitzchi. Mashakos of dvara lekeinu yakum la'olam udvar of Chaim v'kiamim la'ad. Ela shalamatu tachas hazman. It's just by us, it's a clock. It happened from 9 to 10. It happened from 9 o'clock to 9:05. And it happens when you're Isaac in the Torah. Because afterwards, if you change, so then down here, well, now you're different, right? Yesterday I was this, today I'm different. But yichud zeh l'mayla hu nitzchi la'olam v'ad. What is this? What is this saying? That's what he's saying, bringing out here. This is not a small thing. This means that dveikus in Hashem, what Torah and mitzvahs really means, it's not just you doing the right thing. It means you're aligning yourself with something where time stops. There's no time anymore. You're touching a place that's beyond time, but maybe it's eternal. Not just eternal because it's going to last for 100 years, for 1,000 years, for 5,000 years. That's all eternity within time. There are things that last for a minute. There are things that last for a month. There are things that last for a lifetime. And there are things, hopefully, that last for many lifetimes. I mean, not everything. Even the Roman Empire at some point came crumbling down. And probably one day, even the New York Yankees won't exist. I mean, I hope not, but... Chas v'shalom, maybe even Coca-Cola. Right? I mean, listen, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Kodak, yeah, v'chuli. It's tachas hazman. So it's not so easy to find something that has a nitzchiistic, besides the IRS maybe, I don't know. They say the only two things that are guaranteed is death and the IRS, right? Death and taxes, yeah. We were just identifying the source. So,
They're also only in business for 300 years.
also right, also. Even though they once asked a Chinese politician what his view of the American and French Revolution were. She said it's too early to tell. Couple hundred years was, babies. But even Ili Yitsuya, something could last forever, which is not so poshut, because it's within Zman. And anything like that, Rabbeinu Bechaya has an expression, Hatinik, Mishan Noilad Maschilis Yabish. Death begins with birth, right? The destruction of your phone, lahavdil, begins when you use it the first time. When you use the car the first time, the copy machine, the first time it's used, it begins to die, because that's the entropy principle. Basically, the energy starts to be depleted, however you want to explain it. So therefore, by definition, if it's within time, there's change. Dveikus is the pshat, that a Jew who's aligned with Hashem, as Dveikus in Hashem, every moment is not a moment. Every moment is infused with something that's beyond Zman. So it's not just I take it seriously, it's not just be focused, it's not just the power of now, it's not just be present. Of course be present. This is everything. That's all there is. It's not just it's now, but tomorrow there'll be another now. This now, if it's aligned with that which is Lamayla min Azman, at every single moment you have the opportunity, even though we're living in a world of time, and we're living in a world that everything constantly changes, to touch when you experience dveikus in the Ein Sof in that moment, whatever it means in that moment. Because every moment dveikus could mean something else. Depends where you are, what God wants from you with that moment. What are you connecting with? You're connecting with something that's essentially eternal. This is not a moment. It's not a moment. It's a moment that transcends time. It's a moment that transcends, not just that time goes slower. That's a big thing. Time goes slower, meaning it lasts longer. That's also true. So the Baal Shem Tov told his brother-in-law that there's worlds where time is condensed. Here it means that you're touching something that doesn't exist in the world of time anymore. It's beyond time. Time is a creation. And therefore even the word eternal doesn't really apply, because eternal means it lasts in time. I'm just using that word because that's the word we use, eternal. What am I going to use? It's really a world of timelessness that transcends time and therefore is completely not under the flux of time. So it's a moment. So somebody who appreciates that, and where is it really manifested? It's really manifested in the world of tshuva. Because not in the world of tshuva, the clock works for me, time works for me. The Baal Tshuva is frustrated on some level with his past or her past, especially tshuva in its most real and ultimate sense. So I'm catapulted out of time to a place of Ein Sof I want to touch, which is beyond time, which allows him also to fix his past. And therefore, he doesn't want to be stuck in that world of Zman. Koveya es, to nail the moment, that it shouldn't end. Yeah. But what does it mean to really be in the moment? To be in the moment means to realize that God is here. And God is not defined by time. And even the changes of creation didn't change that truth, like we learned before. So therefore, in reality, at every moment, I can touch the place that's beyond moments. I'm not touching an important moment. I'm touching on eternity. And therefore, I'm affecting eternity. If I could become davuk in that metzius, in that truth, which is always present. Fakert, Zman is just two letters. It's a yud mit a hey, it's the whole Zman. It's just two letters. Saying, but I'm not interested in that yichud. I'm interested in the world of time. Okay, so you're investing everything in the two letters.
So in a way, you need to be not present.
You have to lose the sense of time.
It's not present in a certain sense of not drunk. You're not drunk by the vicissitudes, by the pressures of time. You're not drunk by it. You realize that the kavanah is in Zman to be megala that which is lamayla min Zman. At every moment, what I want to touch is that which is not shayach to time b'chlal, that which is not beyond time. The cook stuff mir ich bin.
We're programmed in the world of time of Zman, but
Likkutei is not programmed in anything.
the whole world is living.
What whole world? Man, that doch wegen Ein Sof. Who's talking about the whole world?
That way, there's really no pain.
Huh? First of all, welcome to America. Or I should say, welcome to Liozna. But what do you, I don't know what you mean by the word pain. You mean no suffering. You don't mean no pain.
I mean, yes.
Yeah, you don't mean no suffering.
Suffering or whatever.
Of course not. No boundaries. It's not just cherish the time, the days pass, be where you want. He's saying something much deeper than that. That at every moment you could become dovuk that with that which is lamayla min hazman. It doesn't exist in the world. It's nitzchi. It's not a moment. I'm touching eternity mamish. Not eternity because it's going to last. If it's really aligned with Ein Sof, it's beyond Zman. All of Zman is a creation. That's the choice a person makes. And the Baal Tshuva has the schus because the time was wasted, time was squandered, time was ruined. So he's catapulted. The combustion of the negative energy takes him to a place that's l'mayla min hazman. Tshuva is kadma lo'olam. That's what tshuva means.
What does he gain when he gets there?
I can't answer that question. What he gains, I don't know. What do you gain from any of this?
It brings him closer to what? To learn, to value, to...
What do you gain from truth? I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Clarity.
What do you gain from learning?
Clarity, you get new insights.
Okay. And what do you gain from that? What do you gain from that? I don't know the answer.
Moments of like this.
What do you gain from that?
You get the next
Doing what the neshama came down to do.
Okay.
You get tuned in, you know what you...
Rebbe Zriya, what do you gain from all this? Okay.
I think you find your purpose in life. That's what you get.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Plug in, new electricity.
You plug in? Fine.
Forget about gaming.
Find the purpose of being his
Forget
man.
about gaming. At least you're not losing.
Losing it with different meanings, right?
Isn't it to find the purpose of living? To be in Zman?
There's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. What does the Mishnah say? V'asara mamaris nivra ha'olam. Right? Frag the Mishnah, v'aloi b'maimer echad yachil ibaris. He didn't need 10 mamaris. He could have had maimer echad. One utterance would have been enough. Ella. So let's hear the answer. Lihipara min harishayim. To exact payment from the Rishayim, the wicked people, shema'abdin es ha'olam shenivre b'asara mamaris. Because they destroy a world that was created with 10, not with 1. What's the chilik? The chilik is God didn't invest a minute. He invested 10 minutes. He didn't invest a day. He invested 10 days. He didn't invest a lifetime. He invested, if I destroy what you created in a day, mela. But if I destroy what you created in 10 years, ooh, now I deserve a punishment.
It's only a chilik of time.
But also in quality. In other words, he could have created the world with 1 maimah. Then what would they create? They would destroy. What would they destroy? The world that was created with 1 maimah. Now they're destroying a world that's created by Asara Mamaris. 1 second. Then the Mishnah continues. V'litin sachar toiv l'tzadikim shemekayim enasalam shever b'asara mamaris. And also the tzaddik gets more reward because he's not just maintaining and validating and giving existence to a world that was created with 1 maimah. Rather to a world that's created by Sodom Amaris. In other words, the tzaddik is helping, so to speak, maintain a world that wasn't 1 lifetime of work. It was 10 lifetimes of work. So the schar is much more. He's not just saving a little world. He's saving a big world, a major world. So therefore the schar is more. Now what do you say about this Mishnah?
For a finite brain, it's a shvach.
Why not 100? Why 10?
It could be 100. Okay, so then you'll ask why not 1,000?
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
Saving the whales is...
Saving.
So first of all, it's interesting that the Mishnah says first to punish and then to give reward. Sounds like almost the tachlis is the first thing is to get back at those who destroy it. It's like I'll ask you, why are you putting so much energy into your business? The first thing is to punish those who destroy your business. And then to give reward to those who tzaddik. Should be first to give schar for tzaddikim, no? Who are contributing so much. They're not just contributing to a small world of one mimer. He starts off with the Rishayim. Very interesting. And then you ask a question, why 10? Why not 100? Why not 1,000? It could be a 10,000. And then the schar will be greater and the Rishayim will be punished more.
It makes sense to start with the Rosh because Tshuva preceded the work.
And it's also a strange thing that Hashem could have created a simple world. The reason he created a more complex world is I should be able to punish you when you destroy it. It's like a funny thing, no? It's like you'll say, I could have bought my kids a simple toy. The reason I bought an expensive toy is that when they break it, I should be able to punish them. And by the way, and give them reward when they don't break it. It should be the other way around, no? Which is why so many people develop certain attitudes about God. For Mishnahs like this, when you don't understand what the Mishnah is saying. The bigger question is, this is a more Lumdisha question. The Medrash Shmuel asks, if you could create something in a moment, and you decide to create it, not in a moment, but in 10 days, it doesn't become more precious. It's just you decided to do that. It's wasteful. And it's a negaya in business also, in halacha, right? If you build something, okay, but I'm saying it's the product. If you, if you make a watch, yeah, the watch takes an hour to make and it's worth $5, but you decide to make it in 20 years by doing nothing most of the time or by whatever, making believe that you're doing big things. And then I destroy the watch, what do I have to pay for? Think practically. There's a watch that's worth $10. And you charge me, I'm an immigrant and I don't know English, so you dupe me and you charge me, $1,000 for this watch. So you fooled me. It's called deception. Yeah? Somebody destroys it. What's the halachically? What do they have to pay? They have to pay the real value. Replacement. How much is replacement? $5. But I paid $1,000. Okay, Nebuch, you were deceived. So just because Hashem decided to make the world Basaram Amaris, that's his problem. It's not my problem. If you could have made it one, it is one. Yeah. So what do I have to pay for Saram Amaris? But the truth is, you understand the question? The Mishnah the Mishnah is saying something much deeper. Asarim Amaris Nivra Ha'olam means that the world was created with Asarim Amaris. Asarim Amaris is the source of diversity. There's 10 different utterances. The whole world is diverse. Everything has its own place, its own time, which is what time means. Time means not just everything has its own place, but everything has its own moment. In other words, everything is different, because even if this cup of coffee a moment ago was there was a moment ago. Everything is always changing. It's not just there's me and there's you. Even me. There's me now and there's me tomorrow. And there's me in a moment and there's me in the last moment. Everything is in flux. Everything is diverse. There's you and there's me, and everything is also under constant change. Because yesterday you were one day younger and tomorrow you'll be one day older. With all the changes that happen as a result of that. In terms of the biological clock, and just in terms of general flux and shinuyim, the world of shana, of milashon shina. Basarim amaris nivra ha'olam. The whole world is created by Basarim amaris. Basarim amaris represents the fact that there is diversity in everywhere and everything. V'aloi b'maimer echad yachal baris. Shem could have created the world with maimer echad. What's maimer echad? Maimer echad would have been a different world. What would have been the world of Maimer Echad? It would have been a world in which you would see Echad. You would see oneness. I don't see oneness now. There's you and there's me, and everything is different. There's the grass, and there's the animals, and there's the galaxies, and there's 7 billion people, and there's countries. Everything is different. It all starts because there's 10, and those 10 branch out into more details and more details. We don't see the Echad, the oneness. We spoke about the Yichud yesterday, the Yichud. Everything is diverse. Why is there Asara Mamaris? So the Mishnah says there's two reasons. One is for Rishayim, and one is for Tzaddik. The way it should have said is lahanish asar Rishayim, to punish the Rishayim. It doesn't say to punish. What does he say? Lifroya. What's praya? To get paid back. Lipara means I lent you money. Priyas balchayv. Priyas balchayv means I pay you back. It doesn't say to punish the Rishayim. It says lipara, to get paid back from them. They owe me something. There's a debt. Lipara, I want to get paid back. What do they owe? They were given a world. What did they do with the world? Instead of maintaining and building the godly world that was created by Asara Mamaris, they misused it. They destroyed it. A person takes his body or his soul or the world around him and he misuses it. He violates it. He breaks it. He destroys it. There's a debt. You were sent down for a purpose, as he said. Li'ipara. How does he pay back his debt? He's the first thing. The first purpose is for him. There's something else with tzaddikim. We'll soon get to the tzaddikim, but that's second too. It's number two. What does the Baal Tshuva do? The Baal Tshuva destroyed the world of Asara Mamaris. How does he pay back for what he did? He destroys it a second time through tshuva. He destroys the world a second time through tshuva. His ma'abdin ha'olam shenivra ba'asara ma'amaris causes him to be able to go back to the maimer echad, which is beyond zman. Tshuva kadma la'olam. Because his system broke down, the system didn't work. So the Baal Tshuva has to go beyond the system. He has to go beyond the limitations of the system because the system didn't work for him. The system, on the contrary, the system he ruined. So if you ask the system about this person, you're lost. How does he pay back the debt? He reveals in the world something that's called Maimer Echad, beyond Asara Mamaris. He touches the essence that transcends the diversity of time and space because he malfunctioned the product that God gave him. He pays back, he destroys the world twice. One in the negative and one in the positive. One in the negative, that was the Rosh, and one in the positive, through tshuva. What's tshuva? Tshuva is returning back to what? Back to the Nekuda of Echad, which is beyond Asara Mamaris. Only the Baal Tshuva can do this. The Tzaddik can't do this. The Tzaddik doesn't have to do this. The Tzaddik lives in a beautiful world. The Baal Tshuva's world has been shattered. So therefore, this prompts him to touch a place which transcends existence as we know it. It touches the place which is beyond time, because in terms of the world, in terms of time, he's disgusted with it. He looks at wasted days, wasted years, wasted this. My whole life was one big waste. So what do I do if I go to the world of time? I'm stuck. How do I pay back my debt? I say, one moment, and this is nitzchi, it's beyond zman. Then the Mishnah says there's something else. The tzaddikim who hold up the system, who hold up the structure, we reward them for maintaining that beautiful diversity, even though godliness is concealed. But the first thing is the paying back of the Balei Tshuva, of the Rishayim, Ma'abdina Sa'olam, who bring it back to one Maimer. Because that's what Tshuva is. Tshuva is going from Asara back to Achtos, back to Kadma La'olam.
How do you say that the Baal Tshuva destroys the world?
The Rosh destroys the world. The Baal Tshuva destroys the world in the positive. After destroying the world in the negative, but he's rebuilding a new world. He's rebuilding a world of Maimer Echad, not of Asara Mamaris. It's a different world. You understand what we're saying?
Actually,
You don't understand.
It's like in business, you have engineering, you have maintenance engineers, the one that maintains whatever somebody else built. And there is somebody who can actually rebuild from scratch, and recreate the world. So he's saying Baal Tshuva recreates the world versus maintaining the world.
Yeah, he has to recreate his world because there's nothing left to it. That's what Tshuva means. And when he recreates it, He recreates it with Maimer Echad, not with Asara Mamaras.
Which one is the highest place? The Maimer Echad or the Asara Mamaras?
The Maimer Echad is the...
The tzaddik, why is the tzaddik okay that he is in the Asara Mamaras? Why doesn't he have to reach that?
Because that's how it is. When you're okay, you're just okay.
You would reach that highest place?
You don't have to.
You were just given a beautiful world. And you were
You're in a beautiful place, everything is good. When your car works, you don't have to open the hood and get to the depth of it, right? The car breaks down, now you open the hood, and for the first time you see the battery, and for the first time you see what's happening inside the hood. And then you
have a car that's with 10 things over there, not one first, one thing. You get to that same place that you were before, to that finished product that is 10.
Depends what you do with the hood. Depends what you do. Your computer works, it works. The computer breaks down, suddenly you get to know it in a much more intimate way. You have to open up all the pieces. You have to get to the source of everything. Always in life it's that way. When a person's life is just flowing smoothly, so it's great. It's working. When ma'abdin asylum, when things are not working, so now I have to go to a much deeper place within inside of me. I have to reinvent myself. I have to recreate. And there's always a pain in that because something was lost. So why did Hashem allow an ability for a person to destroy his or her world? Why? Only one reason. So you should be able to recreate it. But how will you recreate it? You'll find the Maimer Echad. You're going to find the core of the oneness. And then you can recreate the world. Rabbi Pfeffer, kann versteht? Nein.
Rabbi, can you maybe summarize today's class? Possible?
I'm still trying to give the class. Forget about summarizing the class. I'm still trying to give it. Yeah, Asara Mamaras, that's what Ishtalshalus is. That's why there's 10. There's 10 spheres, the manifestations. Yeah, Asara Mamaras are connected as the spheres. And the Maimer Echad is the Nikud of Echad that transcends all the 10. It transcends all the 10. That's the Maimer Echad. So we live in a world of Asara Mamaras. We live in that world of the structure that we call Ishtalshalus and Zman. The Maimer Echad is that which transcends all of it. The Baal Tshuva, paradoxically, because he's ma'abed, he destroyed the world of Nivra Basara Mamaras, so he must reach out to the Echad in order to recreate everything anew. Because his Asara Mamaras are already burnt, all his bridges are burnt. His bridges are burnt. You have a person, I'll give a mashal, was verstehen gleich. You have a person who's, I was trying to stay away from Mishalom a little bit, but steht ich mit aufgeben Mishalom, so I'll give a mashal. I'm going to give a mashal from a world that some of you know about very well. It's called the world of addiction. So mal gehet von addiction. Yeah. What type of world? That's the classic ma'abdin es ha'olam shenivra basarma. The person had a life, a body, family, sometimes a wife, children. They push it, take it, and they destroy it. They destroy it through reckless behavior, through foolish choices. They destroy their days, their nights, their bodies, literally their minds. They fry their brains. Whatever it looks like, this addiction, there's many different manifestations of it. But the common denominator is that people do this. Teenagers do it to themselves, young people, older people, men, women. As a result of, we had a meeting on addiction a few nights ago. We discussed it a little bit, right? Because the pain of what they're dealing with, the world for them is just an unbearable place, and they need to escape whatever the escape is. That's the escape. Here you have a classic ma'abdin es ha'olam. The tzaddik in this case, when we use the word tzaddik Baal Tshuva, it's important not to get stuck with the vocabulary of culture. You know, the tzaddik is the guy who's a tzaddik, and the Baal Tshuva is the guy who grew up here. We're talking the concept of tzaddik and a Baal Tshuva. Tzaddik doesn't necessarily mean that he grew up in a place where there was no connection to anything. So I mean, a Tabal Tshuva. You could be in Monsey at Tzaddik and Tabal Tshuva. You could be in Meir Sharim at Tzaddik and Tabal Tshuva. It's not. It's in every person you have both. Also, you understand what I'm saying? So you have here a person ma'abdin asylum versus the Tzaddik who doesn't destroy the world. He maintains it. He maintains it. For him, structure is beautiful. It works. It works. You wake up in the morning. There's morning. You wake up and you go to sleep at night. There's night. There's morning and there's night. But attic, there's no morning, there's no night, there's no connections, there's no loyalty, there's no trust, there's no system. Every system was destroyed. What happens to the addict? One day he looks at his life and what does he see? Huh? I'm saying when there's a shtickle true, what does he see? He sees just a pile a heap of rubble. Exactly. It's destroyed. He destroyed everything. You look at what now? What now? If he tunes into tshuva, or what you may want to call recovery, if he tunes into tshuva, there's only one way he can rebuild his world. And that's what? He has to go to a place where other people don't have to go. All of life that works for people, for him didn't work. He destroyed everything that was given to him. What is recovery? Recovery is you have to connect to Maimer Echad. You have to go to that one place that wasn't destroyed. And it could never be through a God of structure. Because I don't know that God. I don't know that. I have no relationship with it. Everything in terms of structure for him was embarrassing. He must he has to be daring, revolutionary, transcendent, creative. You speak to a regular person whose life more or less is functional, they won't tell you certain things, right? You speak to a real addict in recovery, within 3 minutes, he's already without any levushim. He can't afford to maintain the facade that structure allows us. He can't. He's going to die. He can't afford. He has to be in touch with a Maimer Echad. He has to be in touch with a Nekuda of truth that is beyond any structure. It's just not going. Everything that works for so many people that excite them, it's not going to work for him. He has to have a unique relationship with God that's carved out from the darkness. The darkness takes him to the ultimate darkness, the darkness that transcends the light. And in that sense, he builds a relationship that is different than everybody else. It's very, very refreshing. It's very real. It's very authentic. And it's completely not based on structure. And then there's the tzaddikim. Tzaddikim, they maintain this beautiful world. That's tshuva kadma la'olam. Tshuva catapults you to a place that's beyond makom, beyond zman. Because makom and zman, you made a churv out of makom and zman. Zman, what's zman? Zman is time. What do you do with your time? What do you do with your time? You wasted 25 years, you wasted. What do you do with your time? That's called time? You strip time from everything it has. Time was given for a reason, yeah? Kol yom v'yom avad avidite. Every day has a purpose. What do you do with your time? You looked for another fix. That's what you did with your time. You didn't even have time. You didn't even guide us time. There's no time by addicts. They're not accountable to anybody or anything. Time is accountability. There's no time. So what do you do with your time? You destroyed it. So what's now? So he can overdose. What's overdose? Overdose is the pain of destroying my world. There's no world left for me. Comes the Alter Rebbe and says, instead of overdose, you have to touch a place that's higher than time. Yimas b'chaye hazman. You touch a place where there's no zman anymore. Or in our language, you touch the Maimer Echad. That's what tshuva really means. Tshuva means you're catapulted. Your negative darkness catapults you to a place that's beyond all holy structure. So now you destroy structure a second time in the positive sense.
And if they've always been the Maimer,
No. That's why Hashem allowed a person to be ma'abed. There was only one reason. Why would a good God allow a person to do this to himself? Why? Why would Hashem allow this? The answer is, lihipara, he wants you to be able to pay back your debt. How are you going to pay back your debt? You're going to go from Asarim Amaris to Maimer Echad. You will destroy the world a second time, but this time it's going to be the most beautiful destruction.
but then he goes back to the third Maimer.
It's already Nishda Zalba Asarim Amaris. It's a different Asarim Amaris. You ever speak to a person who's been through certain experiences? They're not all the structures that define people don't define them. They can't live there. For them, it's going to become a lie, even though for many people it works. Because they destroyed it all. It's a different level of honesty, a different level of communication, a different level of a relationship. That's the beauty. That's the koyach of tshuva. That's the koyach of tshuva. Takes you to a place of the essence. That's the Maimer Echad. That's the kadma la'olam. And that's why you could fix the past also. Zdoinus nasaloi kazachias. Why? Because you destroyed structure. If the Baal Tshuva wants to remain in structure, you can never fix the past. Yesterday is never going to come back again. That's only if I live in the world of Zman. If I go to the world that's beyond Zman, what do you mean yesterday I can't fix? Who's talking about you? What yesterday, tomorrow? The yesterday is now, tomorrow is yesterday, the future is now. Avar, Hoiva, and Asid all converge. So yesterday's sin becomes today's mitzvah. But I can't prepare for it. I can't say, I can't do it from a comfortable place. Because if I'm doing it from a comfortable place, I'm stuck in the world of Zman. I can only do it from the uncomfort, from the discomfort with the world of Zman that catapults me to the place that's beyond Zman, like the spaceship, which takes me out of the gravitational pull. And then once I'm in that place, literally time changes. And if time changes, so then what was yesterday a sin and a transgression and failure becomes today's divine connection. No feedback. Isn't this like the essence of life? What I'm saying? Huh? How do you touch it?
Practically.
Very fast, and you would say, I always ask the how.
It's fine. I don't mind any questions. I don't mind any questions. That's not I don't have an issue with any questions, trust me.
What is the how to? How do you
I have much more an issue with no questions than with
How do you
questions.
connect to the place?
I thought the fact that nobody said
The second
anything
part of
was
that question is,
moving in and
can
That's also fine.
Because the shtalshus you can use both ways. You can use to go to
Yeah.
one, and then you can use to
Exactly. The shtalshelus becomes, in a way, for the tzaddik, his shtalshelus becomes a good trap, not a bad trap, a holy trap. Sei gute Welt.
Oilem v'yodem.
Ah?
Oilem v'yodem.
Olam v'yardimba. The Baal Tshuva, everything is shattered. There's nothing left. There's no ladder. So what does he have? It's a Maimer Echad. Again, the Baal Tshuva here is not describing what we call a Baal Tshuva, that he lived in this place for 20 years or 30 years, and then he met Ploini ben Ploini and he moved to Monsey. We're not talking about it. It's a tnua in the nefesh. It's a certain life. It's a certain tnua. That's also called tshuva. It's a different type of tshuva.
So is he on a higher level? He's on a higher level than the tzaddik. He's living in Maimer.
The Gemara says, "B'makom shabali tshuva oimdim ein tzaddikim gemurim yechaylam lamoid." Why? It's not fair. Just because I'm not a Baal Tshuva, that's why I can't be with the Baal Tshuva. The guy sins his whole life, then he does tshuva and he's higher than the tzaddik. So if you're looking at Judaism in that sense, like a checkpoint, points, then it's not fair. Somebody once wrote me an email. She said, it's not fair. She has a neighbor or friend, sinned her whole life, then did tshuva, and they say that she's getting olam haba better than her. She says, Nebach, I had to be through my whole life. So how do I explain to her? Now she's jealous. Yeah, very good. I was thinking that she never considers herself a frum Jew when she's jealous of this person who sinned their whole life and did shuv at the end. She completely doesn't begin to know what Yiddishkeit is. You understand what I'm saying? For her, it's a check, whatever it is. I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's a checklist. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Yeah, I'm 85 years old. I'm ready for Ilam Haba in 10, 20 years, whatever. Here's a person. The checklist, they never showed up. Yeah, they came the last day of school. They took the final. Yeah, they did well, and it's not fair. She wrote to me, she said, I had to work 40 years. I have to work 40 years, and here's a person. But the Nekudas are really much deeper Nekuda. It's like you say a person ate healthy their whole life, and then you didn't eat healthy, and you're still alive. Why didn't you die? You ate healthy. It's not a bad thing that you ate healthy. But the word is that the tnuah of tshuva is one tnuah. It's a type of tnuah in life that the tzaddik can't go there. Doesn't mean that tzaddik should become a balavera. That's not the word. He has a different shlichus. He has a different mission. You want to know what it means? You want to know what this Maimer Echad looks like? Huh? You want to know what it looks like? Are we in Zman now or are we Lamayla Min Zman? Reb Tzadok HaKoyen of Lublin writes, says a Sefer Tzidkas HaTzadik, so he writes there, and also the Kamarner Rebbe writes this in the Sefer Kesem Ofer on the Megillah. Why did Moshe break the luchos? When the Jews made a golden calf, Moshe broke the luchos. Why do you have to break the luchos? They don't deserve it. So give it back to Hashem, hide it. It was such a priceless thing. Talk about priceless, Hashem made it. Why break it? Why destroy it? What was the point? So the Tzaddik says as follows. He says that in order to fix somebody, you have to empathize with them. I can't help you if I don't understand you, because I don't relate to you. I could tell you, come up to my ivory tower, but if I don't see what you're going through, I can't really pick you up from the mud, because I never felt the mud, so you're not going to relate to me. It's a famous story of Reb Nachman of Breslov, with the child who decided he's a rooster, right? And he went under the table, and then the other person also had to be the rooster and got under the table. If you don't get under the table, you can't heal him. The Baal Shem Tov said, Shliach Tzibur, she'enoi mechuyev bedavar, enoi moitzi esirabim yedei chevasa. So he tells a Shliach Tzibur who's not guilty, mechuyev, he can't take the people out of the chayva. So he says, Moshe can always fix and help the Jewish people, because he was with them. So he saw it at least, he was part of it, on some level, but now he was on the mountain. So he had no relationship to anything they did. Hashem told him 2 words, lech reid, go down. So the Tzaddik says lech reid means go down, not just physically and not just go down from your godless. Go down means go down into their world. Lech reid. So what he said was that Moshe broke the luchos. This is very daring. The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos Kuf Daled, HaMeshaber Keilim B'Chamosai, Hareyu Ka'ovid Avodah Zarah. If somebody breaks vessels when he's angry, he's like worshipping idols. When Moshe, so to speak, kevayachol, to be very sensitive, when Moshe broke the luchos, so bedakus, dedakus, in a very, very subtle way, what is he called? So to speak, the Gemara says such a person is ka'ovid avodah zarah. So now he's one with the Jewish people. Once he's one with the Jewish people, he could bring them back up. That's what he says. Huh? In other words, yeah, on Meshabah Caleb, it says he got angry. So however you touch it, whatever. Yeah. So I see that as a classic example of this. If you would open up a sefer and look, it says break the luchos, you're not going to find anywhere a source for breaking the luchos. It's not part of the structure. It's not what you do. The Jews were beyond hope. They were beyond repair. God says there's no hope anymore. So now Moshe had to decide, there is hope or there's no hope. There's only one way there could be hope, and that is if he broke everything. Moshe also broke the structure. He broke Torah. He broke the 10 Commandments. Very good. Very good. Good. He broke all 10 in one shot. But But why did he break all 10? He broke all 10 because he was megala the Gimel Midas Harachamim. In other words, v'nitzavta al atzur. He revealed the connection that can't be broken. But without breaking the 10, he could never reveal that connection. He had to go down into the deepest dumps and bring them back up. Now you're going to say, what's the source? Would he have a source for this? I can't argue with you. I don't have a source, right? Sometimes you have a child who's lost. Yeah. Somebody's in the sea. Somebody's in the ocean. I've heard from one of the Rebbes, somebody's in the sea drowning. So he said, you take off your clothes and you jump in. He said, no, I don't take off my clothes. I don't take off my clothes. This is my structure. That's fine. But when somebody's in the water and the clothes are just going to carry you, they're just going to become a burden, they won't let you save them. You strip all your clothing. What does this mean spiritually? We all have a way in which we are comfortable serving Hashem. It's called the comfort zone. And sometimes it's holy. It's not a bad thing. It's called Asara Mamaras. There's a system. There's a way. And it's a Jewish system. We're not talking about a system that is ridiculous and absurd. And we're talking about a system that's divine, that's holy. But here's a person whose system got completely destroyed. If I insist on sticking to a system, I lose myself and I lose him. I have to take off, I have to reinvent myself, I have to break my luchas, I have to throw off all my lavushim and jump in. And somebody who doesn't have to deal with this doesn't understand this. You know, there's sometimes a doctor, middle of surgery, he has to do extreme measures to break every bone in the body. Really? You know, breaking a person's bones? Yeah, but it's not what the resident says. The textbook doesn't say this. But 60 years of experience says this. You got to break every bone in his body. What are you doing this? You're destroying him. You're going to kill him. No, I'm going to save him. Your typhus the nakuda or not? But there's Asara Mamaris. You're right. There's Asara Mamaris. You're right. The same is true with the Baal Tshuva Lagabe himself. There's no way he's going to fix his world if he doesn't get to the Maimer Echad. The same is true with somebody else. Sometimes with other people, you could see it a little easier than yourself. You have this constantly. There are people, there's somebody who's been coming to this shir, and he was dealing with a teenager who was very, very lost. But her family could not accept, this was quite a few years ago. The end is not a happy ending over there, but it happened a few years ago. And the girl was a very, very deep soul. But the family couldn't relate to her because she didn't fit into the structure. So what they do? They tried to manipulate her to fit into the structure as much as possible, and they meant well. What were they missing? They were missing, and I'm not judging anybody here because it's very hard, they were missing the ability to be able to go out of their own structure. In other words, I'll accept you as long as you fit into this box, which is a beautiful box. The problem is, for this person, the box is destroyed. So now you have to choose. Is there a relationship still, or there's no relationship still? Is the only way out death? Now this is not an easy thing, to break down your own box in order to create an opening for this person. Because this person will not come into a box, for whatever reason. For them, the box is non-existent. So now the question is, if I leave my box intact, you're not coming in, I lose you. Do I break down my box and I say, here? I can't, you don't plan these things. It's not how you're supposed to live. You don't make a plan. This is how the family is going to work. The Baal Shem Tov Sukkah. You remember we spoke about the Baal Shem Tov Sukkah? I never told you the Maisa. The Baal Shem Tov Sukkah, 1 year, had every problem in the world. Every conceivable problem in the world. To the point that the Rabbanim of Brod, where he lived, came and they said the Sukkah is possible. He used good asik, mit good achis, mit doifen akumas, mit schach posel, mit lavuds, every possible heter in the world. Sukkah has a lot of loopholes. Shtei dfonos v'tefach, the worst sukkah you can have. And they said it's not kosher. So God, somebody said the Baal Shem Tov was a chmizboinen, and a note came into the sukkah. It said sukkah should be sold Baal Shem Tov ksheira, malach matat. Okay, so they realized that the sukkah is kosher, but the question is, why he couldn't build a normal sukkah, get another wall, with a little more schach, nobody would help him build a sukkah. If you don't have, you don't have. The pshat is the Baal Shem Tov Sukkah, he wanted to take in every Jew. He wanted every Jew should be in his Sukkah. But some Jews feel like a doif and akuma. A good achis, a good asik, they don't fit. The perfect sukkah takes in perfect people. He wanted every broken person with crooked walls and openings and covers should feel at home in his sukkah. So he created a sukkah, such a sukkah. So of course, you're not allowed to break Shulchan Aruch. This is not a heta to break Shulchan Aruch. The Baal Shem didn't make a sukkah. Who needs a sukkah? I'll bring them into my dining room. That's not a Jewish thing to say. That's comes from Kalos Rosh. You don't care. We're not talking about that. We're talking very subtle things. It's a very subtle thing. Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchas. L'poel Hashem told him, Yeshekaychecha sheshibarta. This is the right thing to do. We're not talking about doing the wrong thing because I do the wrong things because I have my own heterim because I don't care really. That's not what we're talking about. That's hefkedus. People confuse the two. This comes from more years Shemayim, not from less years Shemayim. That's the difference. There's people who destroy boxes because they don't have Yerush Shamayim. There's people that have more Yerush Shamayim. You get what I'm saying? This is Lagabe the Baal Tshuva himself also. In the world of Asara Mamaras, there's no future. What says there's no future? There's no past, so there's no future. So you must go to a place of Maimer Echad. Mamash Maimer Echad. What's Maimer Echad? Maimer Echad is a nekuda of Echad that's beyond any structure. Doesn't look like it. In simple terms, it means it's connecting to God in a way that it doesn't have to look like anything. You know what I mean? Huh? Now suddenly you understand?
Is this what the
Not getting stuck in the rules to protect the...
Not getting stuck in what looks like. Sometimes you get stuck, it has to look a certain way. How do you know what it has to look like? How do you know what a relationship with God looks like? What does it look like? I don't know what it looks like. Asara Mamaris, it has a look. There's structure. There's things, yeah, things not. Maimer Echad, I don't know what it looks like. What does a relationship with God look like? It looks like exactly what it is. This is the Maisa, the Maisa again with the talented Baal Shem Tov. His wife destroyed the esrog, right? He spent everything on buying the esrog. Yeah. If he would have been, what would have happened? He should have blown up, broken a window. That would have been normal. He paid his whole savings of a year. He invested in an esrog. She took the esrog and she bit off the pitta. What did he do instead? He connected to her. Why? Because his Yiddishkeit was not stuck in a certain image, in a certain structure. It's sukkis, an esrog, an esrog, an esrog, an esrog. Sukkis is an esrog, and it's the emes azoi. For a tzaddik, sukkis is an esrog. It's not an esrog. But he had to be a Baal Tshuva. Because his wife destroyed his esrog. He had no esrog on sukkis. Huh? What does Dveikus with Hashem look like right now? I got no esrog, I got no tefillin, I got no sukkahs. What does it look like? I got nothing. What does it look like? I'm going to connect to you. God is still here. But it's a different maim. It's a maim echad. It's a nekuda of achtos. It doesn't have a certain image. It doesn't have a certain structure. In normal times, you don't need it. Baruch Hashem. A Yid comes home, Erev Sukkot with a big esrog, you feel good, you sit in the Sukkah 2 hours, you ma'agid the lulav, and that's how you should do it. We don't say echta v'ashav, but that's what tshuva, but there's something in tshuva that the mistake, the problem, the challenge, the destruction allows you to connect to a God that is really beyond any limit. And it takes you out of that. And that's where you could re-heal everything. That's where you reconnect. And then you could come back to the Asara Mamaris. You could come back from the Maimer Echad. It's not like you're never supposed to have an esrog again on Sukkos, or the luchas are supposed to be broken forever. No, you rebuild luchas. It's not about romanticizing destruction. You get a second luchas. That's the Bali Mokim, that's the Bali Tshuva. But this happens from tshuva. It's the kadma la'olam. The tshuva, it's like the spaceship. The combustion of sin. Sin creates a combustion that unleashes such power, the Ur Chayzer, that throws him into a place that's kadma la'olam. Okay, genug verheint, yeah?
That's, by the way, that's tremendous difficulty for Shul to come to the structured world of tzaddikim here, because the truth
I
is,
know.
according to them, that should be rebuilt again from scratch.
The truth is that becomes a very tragic reality when the tzaddik forces the Baal Tshuva into his structure, which for the Baal Tshuva is a betrayal of his relationship with God. Instead of the Baal Tshuva elevating the tzaddik degrades the Baal Tshuva to the Asadam Amaris, and it destroys his connection. Because for the tzaddik it works, because he functions in that orbit. For the Baal Tshuva, his whole truth came from revolution. It didn't come from evolution, it came from revolution. And then he goes into a world where they mock any creativity. So he has to stifle the whole spirit of revolution, which is what made him become a Baal Tshuva.
Right. The biggest destruction also.
Psychological, also emotionally.
And then the truth is that, after looking into this world, I want to destroy it completely.
Right. Macht sich bequem. Ja. Noch was verstanden? Der Maimer Echad. Where are we?
The first real Baal Tshuva was Moshe Rabbi.
Verstehe the Pshat.
So the first real person that actually. So now actually I think that Torah was given as a tool for Baal Tshuva.
Of course.
Moshe Rabbeinu actually was the first Baal Tshuva. Destroyed 10.
The breaking of the Luchas was the breaking of the 10 Commandments. It's a fascinating idea. He's the one. You can give me a hug every day, by the way, not only today.
Really? I'm afraid to get so familiar. I mean, I'm just.
But I understand today why you're giving me a hug. Moshe is the first one who broke the 10 Commandments. That Bachela was right. Where is he? I'd get gesagt. Didn't expect it from him.
Yeah.
You hear Nochem? Moshe was the first one who broke all the 10 Commandments simultaneously. It's a beautiful word. And with that, he saved Klal Yisrael. But he put it very well, how he broke all the 10. That was good gesagt. It was acute, sharp. Okay, Tayir Yidden. Back to structure.
No.
Darf doch gehen von der Meile men Azman in Zman. Es ist nicht ab sich Chiddisch antläufen. Du meinst, der Chiddisch ist antläufen? Das ist nicht der Chiddisch von Alter Rebben. Chiddisch von Alter Rebben ist der Zman.
I understand the break.
Because the Alter Rebbe's Lamaila min Azman was real, therefore he went back into Zman. Verstehst? Er hat sich nicht gebuckt zu kein Sachen nicht. Da füllen nicht zu Lamaila min Azman. Er hat sich nicht gebuckt zu Lamaila min Azman. Ist er erst gekommen, was... Du meinst das was? Meinst das 5 Versäge verschreiben? Ah? Wat ik geleerd aan mij, maar ze komen naar huis nieuwe zaken. Dat is wat we doen. Ah?
Jetzt hast du Masse wie wenn der ganze Schiff überlegen.
Verdegen, no? Sta Jiden was boeken zich zu Zman. Okay, stam verloren in der Shammes. Sta Jiden was boeken zich zu Lamaila min Zman. Sie meinen, sie nicht verloren in der Shammes. Er hat sich nicht gebuckt zu keinen Sachen nicht. Dass er gekannt Mechaber sein. Verstehst?
Different structure.
Das ist der Punchline.
Okay. Sometimes you gotta wait till 8:22. Soll's verschreiben. Soll's verschreiben ist in Zman.
This class is brought to you by theyeshiva.net. Please help us continue the classes. Make even a small contribution at www.theyeshiva.net/donate.